The Irishman spoiler review. Let's begin. Oh, before we begin, actually, as some of you know, I did do my non-spoiler review. And so if you have seen that and are going to watch this now, I might repeat some things because some people didn't see that one. So, yeah, The Irishman is Martin Scorsese's most recent movie that came out in select theaters on November 1st. And it will be coming out on Netflix on November 27th. So here's some stuff before I get to my full review. Here is the actual, I'm trying to get the ticket, the actual ticket from our viewing, which was at the Belasco Theater in Manhattan. And they go The Irishman. We saw it actually November 3rd, so 2 days ago, as of the filming of this video. And I also, including me and my dad, got this rare Irishman hat, the Irishman hat. This was only given to people like crew and actor crew, people who possibly produced the movie, maybe even Martin Scorsese himself. And the reason I have it is because they actually filmed, if you see the movie, or if you have seen the movie yet, there's a scene towards the end of the movie where Robert De Niro is in a car wash and he's talking about his car, and that car wash was actually filmed in Brooklyn at my dad's car wash. And the scouting agent gave us one of this. You know, I was a big fan because my dad told him. And she gave us a hat. We also had a shirt, but we got the hat. We thought the hat was cooler. It was their own shirts. But yeah, nice little hat. And let's begin with my review. So, I thought it was a great movie overall. There was many scenes I liked. There was, in the beginning of the film, I liked where Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci first meet, and Robert De Niro's truck sort of breaks down, because that's what his job, the character he's playing, his job is, and it breaks down, and he pulls into a Texaco gas station, and Joe Pesci goes up and says, do you need help? You got a problem here? Can I help you? And they're talking, and Joe Pesci helps fix the truck and all that, and Joe Pesci says to Robert De Niro, what's your name? He says, I'm Frank. And Robert De Niro goes like, what's your name? And Joe Pesci says, I'll see you around, Frank. Have a nice day. And he walks away. So it was a funny scene. And later on, when they meet again, Ray Romano introduces Joe Pesci to Robert De Niro. And Robert De Niro goes, don't you remember my truck and all that stuff? And he's like, yeah, Frank, right? And he said, and Ray Romano goes, this is my cousin Russell Buffalino. And Ray Romano plays Joe Pesci's cousin in the movie, Bill Buffalino, who was a lawyer. He's a lawyer of Frank Sheeran, which is played by Robert De Niro. Cast members. Sebastian Maniscalco as Joe Gallo. I thought he was very good for his short amount of time. Bobby Cannavale as Robert De Niro's boss, Felix Skinny Razor DiTullo, and Harvey Keitel as Angelo Bruno. He was very good for his short amount of time. You get like a little introduction to him and stuff along that lines. Stephen Graham as Anthony Provenzano, and you might know Stephen Graham from Boardwalk Empire, if you've ever seen that. He plays Al Capone, which was Boardwalk Empire was also a Martin Scorsese's production. Anna Paquin as Peggy Sheeran, which was Frank Sheeran's daughter, so she plays Robert De Niro's daughter in the movie. Catherine Narducci as Carrie Buffalino, which is Joe Pesci's wife in the movie. She was good for her time. Many people had like short time in this movie. Dominic Lombardozzi as Anthony Fat Tony Salerno. He was good. He played a good part, I thought. And how can I forget Al Pacino as Jimmy Hoffa? Al Pacino did great in this movie. They all did great, I'm gonna have to say. Big fans of all of them. There was many cameos, such as, if you ever seen Goodfellas, Goodfellas, there's a scene where Henry Hill, played by Ray Liotta, is panicking about helicopters. And a guy goes, "Do you want to see helicopters?" And I believe his name is Alan Sherman. I'm not really completely sure about that, but he was in it as like a little cameo. And if you ever seen Bronx Tale, the kid Crazy Mario, he's in it. A quick little cameo. And also the guy that plays, if you've seen Boardwalk Empire, who has a fake face because his eye is missing. He plays Robert F. Kennedy in The Irishman. And let's talk about de-aging. De-aging was, I thought, very good in this movie. I wasn't distracted as many other people have said. They were distracted, like they were focused on that, took them away from understanding the movie and, absorbing it. I was not distracted. I thought they did a great job. Out of all the other movies that have done de-aging, I think they did the best job. What else happened? There was a scene that I liked the most, mostly from like that part to the end. I liked is when Robert De Niro is getting his acceptance speech doing his acceptance speech for, I believe he's getting an award being a Teamster president, I believe it was. And that whole scene, everybody's there, like Harvey Keitel and Bobby Cannavale and all that. Everybody was there in that one scene. And he talks to Al Pacino and he says, like, he's trying to tell him that you're not going to live, all that stuff. Trying to get that message, and Al Pacino's not getting that message, which I thought was a good scene. And one of my favorite lines in the movie is when is actually taking place in the scene, which Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro are talking, and Robert De Niro's like, they can't kill a president of a union, and Joe Pesci goes, if they could kill a president of the United States, they can kill president of a union, because in this movie they imply that the mob had President John F. Kennedy killed. And the scene, which most people, which this movie is mostly based around, is the death of Jimmy Hoffa. So this whole scene was good because just from like the first plans of it, which going in lines with this movie, it seems like it was just a normal meeting. Nobody was supposed to die. And then how it evolved ended up being a killing. So they'd start off with talking about how Joe Pesci wants to have a meeting at Bill Buffalino's daughter's wedding, and Jimmy is not coming because Anthony Provenzano, who's played by Stephen Graham, as I said before, is going also to this wedding, and he doesn't want to go there because the guy is there. And then he decides later on, Robert De Niro calls him and says, you gotta go to this wedding, this meeting, everybody says so. And he says, no, I'm not going. So then later on, Robert De Niro talks to Joe Pesci. He says he's gonna think about the meeting. And so Robert De Niro calls him back and says, basically, so you said you were thinking about it, and he says, yeah, Tony Jack, who's Anthony Giacolone in the movie, he says, Tony Jack and me and the little guy are going to sit down. The little guy is referring to Anthony Provenzano. He said, we're going to have a meeting, and that's it. We set it up at this restaurant. And so Rob De Niro says, I think I should be there. And so he's like, okay, yeah, I want you there. The next morning, Joe Pesci is talking, and he says, we did everything we can for this guy. That's it. Even you did it. He's talking about De Niro at this point. And that means you gotta go and kill him. So that whole scene, he goes into the restaurant parking lot, picks up Jimmy, and they walk into a house, and Jimmy looks forward, and right before this is where I felt bad for Al Pacino's character, because right before this they hug it out, and they're like best friends and all that stuff. And then he walks in, looks right into the kitchen, then looks into the living room, and then realizes something's wrong. So he's like, "Let's get out of here." Turns around and goes to like do knocking, like running into the door formation, so he can break it down. And right there, Robert De Niro just shoots him 2 times in the head. And I thought I felt bad for him because he panicked and he felt so trusted in these people, and then they kill him in the end, which I thought. But from that part on, I think the movie got slightly better because you see his life and how this sort of affected, how Jimmy's death affected Robert De Niro's character, and so on, and they go to jail with Joe Pesci, and they explain everybody. And I liked the ending. I thought it was very good. I liked how it ended. Him with an old man, him as Robert De Niro as an old man, and it was very good movie overall. I would definitely recommend it to people. One thing I would fix, or one thing that I would critique about it, is that there's one scene where they show a man in a barber chair, and you follow a guy walk out of the barbershop. 2 guys walk up, and they walk into the barbershop, and you look at flowers, and you hear gunshots. And so that's supposed to be Mobster Albert Anastasia's death. Now, they don't explain that. They just show a photo of a guy dead on the floor, and they don't explain who the guy was. So if you don't know, like, mob history, you don't know that was Albert Anastasia. So they should have explained that. And later on, when you meet everybody else, like when you first meet Harvey Keitel as Angelo Bruno, because Angelo Bruno shot in 1980 sitting outside. So they explain how many times, how, and when they died. And so I thought that they should have did that with Albert Anastasia. This is Albert Anastasia, blah, blah, blah. And they should have showed a photo like they did with Albert Anastasia. But that's the only thing I would fix in the movie. But overall, it was a great movie. Besides that, I would not fix anything about it. The aging was great. It was just a great movie overall, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody who likes Martin Scorsese movies and such, and my movies in general, because it's personally my favorite movie as of right now. Definitely deserves a Best Picture win, and I'll be ending my video here. If you want any other movie reviews, leave a comment on what movie you want me to review next. And if that comment gets the most likes, I'll do my movie review on it. And like, that's a way of voting. But if you want to see more videos, like, subscribe, and leave a comment about a suggestion for a movie. Thank you, and good night.